I'm gonna walk away. I do not want to be a part of black on black crime. So I let it go.
I can't believe that people are asking to see everybody. When you go to a doctor's office, I think it's disingenuous to believe that they ask people, if you're dealing with somebody's mind, if you're dealing with somebody's physical well-being, you should be trained for it.
Not having to question the credentials and the qualifiers raises for us another stumbling block.
Went on to get my doctorate in counseling psychology.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
There's a lot of people with titles. Folks are getting honorary doctors like candy at a candy store now.
Which they sure
Which
are.
I am against. I only received mine because I have an academic doctorate that I said, hey, no problem.
Listen, I don't give a what your narrative is. I would like for you to recreate it, double down on it, and run it. Because I don't give a fuck about it.
Cheyenne Bryant went from waving around a fake PhD like it was a hall pass to launching a full-scale manhunt against anyone who questioned her. And that list includes somebody who used to be in her corner, Pastor Jamal Bryant. Let that sink in.
I don't even have to do this. It's ridiculous. Over a month ago, I came to you and apologized for platforming Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Not soon after that, I received an email, a cease and desist, not to mention her name or to speak to the controversy.
A woman who built her entire brand on healing people is now out here weaponizing lawyers and threats against a pastor who called out her con. And now his wife Carrie has entered the chat and she is not interested in diplomacy. This thing has exploded way past a social media spat, and we're going to break down exactly how we got here. Before all of this unraveled, Cheyenne Bryant had built herself a legitimate-looking empire as an internet therapist. She wasn't just posting advice from a ring light setup, she was pulling up on major platforms. The Breakfast Club, the Joe Budden podcast, Cam Newton's show, Club Shay Shay. Every one of those appearances added another layer of credibility to her name.
Right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my sessions that were live. And they deemed it, as well as I did before they did it, they can't validate me, I validated myself, they deemed it as my work being effective. I am effective at what I do. I'm educated and I'm successful in my lane, and I'll land on this, I created my own lane.
People trusted her so deeply that she was handed the presidency of an NAACP branch. She had convinced the culture she was the real thing, a voice for black mental health, a safe harbor for people who needed guidance. The community gave her everything: loyalty, money, access, and belief. Then it all collapsed because word got out that this woman had been practicing therapy without a license the entire time. Not a technicality, no license, no credentials, no proper training.
You know what? Just gonna go to hell. We're not doing this. We're not doing this, okay? Nobody keep playing in my face. Produce the document. Show us footage. Give me the receipts. Or we don't want to hear this. What Monique say? If you're not gonna put a name to it, keep it on the playground. This is childish, and you need to go to hell.
Her explanation that she skipped licensure on purpose so she could serve low-income black people who had been failed and ignored by the traditional medical system. Some people might have even accepted that framing, uncomfortable as it was. But what nobody could let slide was that she had been calling herself a doctor of psychology when she didn't even have a degree.
I will go into an honorary doctorate. I had a doctor title before I ever had honorary doctorate.
Ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree.
Not a doctorate, not a master's. She had constructed an entire professional identity around a title she was never qualified to hold. She positioned herself as a marriage and family expert while having never been married herself.
I'd rather take advice from a single woman or man who's happy, thriving, successful, meaning in their joy, not just in their monetary value, than someone who is miserable in their marriage with a side dude and a side chick, and you want to give me the advice that you give yourself, that you use in your failed marriage, I'll pass.
Bitter.
I'll pass. I'll pass. And what happens is married people like to shun on single folks. The Bible also says single people are happy people. Look that up. Look that up. It says marriage takes discipline.
And when pressed on that specifically, her defense was that a happy single woman's advice is worth more than a miserable married woman's. She actually said that out loud. Here's the thing about black culture and education. A doctorate is not something you hide. That achievement gets framed, posted, announced, celebrated. So when Cheyenne could not produce a thesis, could not produce a diploma and responded to those requests with fury instead of documentation, the community already knew the answer.
Don't give her any more attention. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, we don't know what type of doctor she is, but she's made millions of dollars. I think about her like I think about a veneer tech, somebody who's putting on braces and or veneers in a basement and have not went to dental school. That's why, a lot of Black doctors have a problem with it, because we went to school for a very long time and they make us look bad. Listen, if she is a doctor, more power to her. If she ain't, she need to stop lying.
She was exposed and she had nothing to show. What made it worse was how quiet the platforms that built her stayed. Joe Budden's people circled the wagons and defended her. Cam Newton said nothing. Shannon Sharp said nothing. And given his own history of contradictions, that silence wasn't exactly shocking. Cheyenne had every reason to believe she'd survive the backlash with her alliances intact. Then, Pastor Jamal Bryant stepped out and dismantled her publicly like she had betrayed the congregation. This wasn't a stranger. Cheyenne had appeared on his Let's Be Clear podcast. Jamal called her his play cousin on air. Same surname, same supposed community ties, same platform. He co-signed her in front of his audience, and even then, his followers were skeptical because something about her presence didn't add up. So when the full picture of her deception came out, Jamal didn't hedge or stay quiet. He went directly to his audience, apologized for giving a grifter a platform, and made it unambiguously clear that he had never endorsed her methods and never would.
We have to be zealous, responsible, and protective of our spaces. The danger of Sister Cheyenne Bryant, not Dr. Sister Cheyenne Bryant.
That apology lit the fuse on everything that followed. So what did she do? She dug in deeper. She hit the comments, calling her critics haters, deflecting every legitimate question like it was a personal attack. Then she posted a video rocking a PhD gown, full regalia, full confidence, until the internet traced that gown back to an Amazon listing. Not a ceremony, not a university, a costume. She served up the receipts herself and didn't even know it.
Took me 12 seconds to find it on Amazon, $83. $83!
And here's what made it worse. The internet had already started to move on. The moment had crested, but Cheyenne couldn't let it die because her ego wouldn't allow her to just take the L.
If this is a point of tension, then just say, show
And it's like it died down, and then she brought it back up by getting on the Instagram or the YouTube or whatever, and with a cap and gown, and then people pulled it up. The internet is undefeated. They pulled it up on Amazon, showed the same thing. And if you got a degree, show it. Everybody know where all their stuff at. Where my stuff at? Right here. Look.
Accountability, no correction, just doubling down on a story that was already inflamed. That's not strength. That's someone who genuinely cannot face what they've done. Meanwhile, Pastor Jamal revealed she had been pressing him behind the scenes to walk everything back. She sent him a cease and desist, not from any attorney, not through any law firm, but written by Cheyenne herself, demanding he remove his posts, kill any planned video, and never speak her name negatively again.
I scanned down to the bottom, and it was not from a lawyer, not from an attorney, not anybody who was barred. It was from Cheyenne Bryant herself.
He looked at it and kept moving, but Cheyenne couldn't stop. She pulled in someone named Jackal Pitts, got him to contact Pastor Jamal, claiming to be the president of Indiana Southwest Christian University, supposedly the institution that granted her a doctorate in theocratic psychology.
Dr. Bryant's narrative about the school not being registered, it was just started in May of 2026. So it's not going to have any type of standing online. It was just established in May of 2026.
How many doctors have you given out total since May?
Only one.
So in the history of the school, which started
in May
8 weeks ago,
yes,
you've given out one degree, and that is to Cheyenne Bryant.
No transcripts, no documentation, nothing verifiable, just a title and a claim built on air. Pastor Jamal did what any person operating in reality would do. He looked it up. The university does not exist. It never existed. Cheyenne didn't just fabricate credentials. She fabricated the entire institution behind them.
So if you've only been open for 8 or 9 weeks, how have you been able to do an earned doctorate? I mean, I understand an honorary doctorate because that's based on life contributions, social contributions, status, etc. But an earned doctorate is usually done through coursework. You can do coursework in 2 months.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with what's required of an earned doctorate. It usually takes 4 to 6 years.
Yeah.
But as a private Christian university, we actually reserve the right to waive traditional policies and procedures. So how we conducted that particular decision was we initiated a process called prior learning assessment.
At this point, she's so deep in the construction that the only way to hold it up is to keep adding more lies on top. And that's exactly when it all collapses under its own weight, because Jamal isn't the only one she has to worry about now. Pastor Jamal may have a reputation for working angles himself, but even he understood the basic survival math. When drama peaks, you let it breathe, you redirect, and you keep building. That's not weakness, that's strategy. So he handed Cheyenne the most generous exit she was ever going to get. Walk away, regroup, move forward. Most people would have grabbed that lifeline with both hands. Cheyenne didn't grab it. She lit it on fire because Jamal severely miscalculated how far gone she already was. Word has come out that he's been formally served with legal papers. Cheyenne is taking him to court, claiming his statements about her education, her credentials, and her personal life were defamatory and misleading.
Let's shut the case on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. The only robes I want to see people in are the 500 kids who are trying to go to Howard, an accredited school. God bless you.
Now, I do want to take you out to a flashback reel.
She is suing a man for asking a question that turned out to have no honest answer. Let that land for a second. Jamal has publicly said he's done talking about it, stepping back and letting the courts handle whatever they handle. But Carrie Bryant never made that promise, not once. And Carrie is not someone you want as an enemy because she was the one who started all of this. She personally introduced Cheyenne to her husband and pushed for her to come on the podcast, genuinely believing it would be a solid moment for everyone. That goodwill got repaid with a lawsuit aimed directly at the man she's built her life around. And if you've watched Carrie Bryant for even 5 minutes, you know she does not take that lightly. Word is that Karri got on the phone with Cheyenne directly and made something very clear. Drop the lawsuit or watch whatever credibility you have left get shredded in public. She reportedly isn't bluffing. She allegedly has receipts, and those receipts allegedly include a list of people Cheyenne has scammed. The walls are closing in from every direction, and those people are already starting to speak. One woman came forward and described going to Cheyenne for therapy during a vulnerable period when her regular therapist wasn't available. She specifically wanted a Black woman therapist, and Cheyenne's content made her seem like a real option. But from the very first session, something was off. No intake questions, no forms, no clinical framework of any kind. It felt less like therapy and more like sitting with someone who wanted to talk about herself, specifically about her multiple engagements and her self-perception. The woman never rebooked, and the reason matters. She came in dealing with anxiety rooted in PTSD and left sliding deeper into depression after being told she wasn't a high-value woman. She came looking for tools to heal. She got condescension instead. Another person paid $300 for a single hour and walked away being told she was low vibrational. Her anxiety and PTSD was so destabilized afterward that she had to wait on a genuinely licensed professional just to get stable again. $300, 1 hour, real psychological damage. The internet has been piling on from every angle. One woman said she clocked Cheyenne as fake years ago, back when she was working with teenagers on a reality show, watching her get emotionally entangled in their storylines in ways that felt completely off for someone claiming clinical objectivity. Then Basketball Wives happened, and Cheyenne nearly came to blows on camera, which doesn't exactly scream grounded mental health professional. And somebody pointed out that she's been out here wearing a chain that literally says Doc on it, which, if you think about it, is the single most revealing piece of evidence in this entire story. Real doctors don't need jewelry to remind people. And while she's posting thirst traps to keep the timeline distracted, nobody has seen a diploma, a dissertation, or a single verifiable credential. Posting your body is not a rebuttal. Deflection is not documentation. Suing Pastor Jamal for asking a question she had no real answer to is not the move of someone who has the truth on their side. If the degrees are real, the paperwork ends this conversation in 24 hours. You don't need lawsuits. You You don't need threats through Carrie, and you don't need jewelry or thirst traps or legal intimidation to silence people when the facts already speak for you. The facts are not speaking for Cheyenne Bryant. And at this point, the silence where that evidence should be is the loudest thing in the room. If you're tired of the watered down takes and want the real story behind what's happening in the culture, stick with BarzBuzz. We don't do PR. We don't do spin. Just the truth the industry doesn't want trending. Subscribe and make sure you're notified. The next one drops sooner than you think.